So you, at the beginning of this personal development talk, you had mentioned that you started a bunch of things, some worked, some didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how do you decide when to quit?
You know, that's a really good question, actually, because I think it's in my nature to not quit. And I think it's about framing it in the right way. Because a lot of people, like if you're in like a passion-based business and you love it and you know it's absolutely what you want to do, like without a doubt, or like let's say you're a professional athlete or want to be a professional athlete, then you shouldn't give up on that. But when it comes to certain business ventures and you're trying to reach, let's say, a certain financial goal or a certain goal with the business, and you don't care as much about what business it is, but about achieving an outcome as a business person, I think you need to assess. Oh man, that is a tough question. I think you need to assess the cost and what's going on, and whether or not it's worth it to continue in the business venture. Because like I launched other physical products brands when I launched Rome, and some of them were just plagued with problems. And eventually it was like Rome was succeeding, but these other ones weren't, so I just cut them. You know, but I didn't see it as quitting. I saw it as focusing my energy on what was working. Or in the past, I had tried other business ventures and they weren't quite getting me the results I wanted after putting in a lot of effort, and I didn't care a whole lot about the business that it was. So, and it wasn't that they even failed or that I quit. It was just like, okay, this isn't really working. I've really tried everything. I was always trying multiple things, I guess, you know?
Because that passion part seems to be apply that and then trying multiple things.
I think trying multiple things. And then also, like I was rehabbing my first home, a single family home. So I was building a lot of equity in it. I hated that, but it worked in a small sense, right? Because I had a lot of equity. Then I was trying another business right after I finished that. And then as I was trying that other business, I actually started Rome. And then Rome I just loved, and it was working. So then at that point it was like, okay, I'm not passionate about real estate, so I'm not going to do that. But it worked okay for what it was. It was a small opportunity. Then I was trying the other business, and that wasn't really getting me the results I wanted, but I had this other business over here that I loved. So I was like, well, if I'm not that passionate about this other business, why keep doing it, you know?
Right.
So I guess when I was starting stuff, I was never really putting all my eggs in one basket. I was kind of just trying a bunch of stuff, seeing what I liked, you know, seeing what was going to take off. But I think now, as a more mature businessman and just understanding how these things go, I can it depends on the industry, but I mean, you just have to ask yourself, at what point is the pain not worth it? You know, I think that's really the question. And then you don't see it as quitting.
Wow, that's such a good way to say that.
Yeah, at what point is the pain too much, right? Like, let's say you start a new business in a different industry, and after a year, you're still bleeding money, and you're still raising money to fund it, and it's just not making it.
And so many people do that.
Yeah, is it worth it to keep going? Because sometimes the answer might be yes. But if not, then you just cut it as quickly as possible.
It must be so hard to like separate emotion from wisdom to some degree, you know?
Yeah, and I think if you're going to fail, you should fail fast.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with failure. And I know this is talked about a lot in the personal development world, but because failure is just learning. It's all about perspective and reframing. So as soon as you can gain that other perspective of saying, you know what, this isn't a failure. I learned from this. I learned a lot from this. But this just isn't working.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time and energy.
Yeah. No, that's so good. So good. Failure is part of the recipe for success.
Right. And it's so based off what the circumstance, the situation. So it's hard to give one answer to all situations like that. But yeah, if you just have to ask yourself, at what point is the pain not worth it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and it might not be an emotional pain. It might just be a pain of financial, you know, like,
don't kill yourself in debt.
Yeah. If you don't really truly believe in it, because there's also plenty of people that have, and then they've succeeded, but it's a fine line, and you just have to know what it's worth to you. Yeah. And then if you do move on to something else, don't take that thing so to heart as a failure. View it as an opportunity that was a learning experience.